think the environment has to be
What we're saying is have a heart.
We've got to be able to regenerate our
There'll
economy.
be people who are kind, people who are cruel, but that's life. You can be bitter about pigeons. I'm fine with that.
There's no time for a lot of us in Singapore, so we have to go for convenience food. So let's address this problem from the perspective of Singapore. Are there alternatives? They go for convenience food, they go for hawker food. What can the normal family with very little time on their hands do?
Firstly, never skip breakfast. It's the most important meal of the day. Paradoxically, people think by skipping breakfast they're going to lose weight.
I'm going
That's
to tell my
not true at all.
grandson that.
Secondly, and enormously important, is that we have been hunter-gatherers for 10,000 years.
Not warriors, right?
Hunters are warriors.
And the whole paradigm of eating 3 square meals per day, breakfast, lunch and supper, is very new. So I think, I have to say this with some trepidation and caution, eat small portions of food frequently as our hunter-gatherers did. So bite on a few bits and pieces right through the day, interestingly.
You're not
in
talking
small
snacking, right?
Snacking,
But
the
good
kind
food.
of snacks are things like vegetables, fruits, nuts, and you will never gain weight. This is a counterintuition that I think we need to really get our viewers to understand. Don't skip breakfast, which is an anathema. Be a forager like our ancestors were for many, many millennia. So eat small portions of foods and you will never gain weight. And that's been tested, several studies around the world to this paradigm.
In other words, what you're suggesting is don't sit down and eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, like regularly, right? And if you go to a party, it's fine, right? But if you're at home, just eat when you feel like you're eating something, but don't then have this big meal in between, right?
Yeah, but you can't snack on steaks and things like
No,
that.
this
That
is
has
the
to be
point.
cooked.
This is the point. I think Ivy's point is that the snacks that we use should be either something that's got we call low calories, like fruits and vegetables and things that we are actually accustomed to. Remarkably, Asian foods in general are actually low calorie. You look at boiled rice, you eat cassava, you eat potatoes. They're all quite low calorie.
Those are all carbos.
Yeah, so the carbohydrate content has to be maintained, but actually it comes back to the whole question that we all discussed a moment ago. It's about energy balance. If you eat a quantity of food and you exercise, actually there is no scope for the calories to be laden on your body.
So apart from breakfast, which is a proper meal, are you suggesting that lunch and dinner is not important?
No, not so much so important, but don't, as Ivy says, just only concentrate on a single meal. So I have many of my students, exactly what you say. They sleep late, get up late, skip breakfast, have a very, very marginal lunch, and they have a copious meal at supper. And that's precisely what predisposes them to gain adipose tissue, because the body says, hey, this guy is going without food, so my calorie expenditure comes down. And when you fill the person with food, that calorie goes sweeping into your tissues. So it is very counterintuitive, but every single study around the world has shown those that have a good breakfast rarely gain weight over the long term.
Then what about eating times?
Yeah, so this again is a relatively recent concept, and I think it's not been fully researched, but it is absolutely true that we have something called the circadian rhythm, which actually we know very little about. And so there may be occasions when, to meet the right kind of metabolic parameter, you may need to eat at the right time. But I think the old historical point that we need to understand that we are a part of human evolution. And for 20,000 years or more, until we domesticated plants, we were hunter-gatherers. Only 10,000 years ago, we started to plant and become agricultural dependent. So therefore, we were hunter-gatherers for many, many millennia. So the question is that, can we adapt that kind of a model of eating to our contemporary world? I think it's a big challenge that we can discuss.
So is there a right time to eat? Is there a cut-off time that beyond which you should not be eating?
I can't answer that.
I think I would suggest that you eat when you're hungry. But you see, a lot of parents, they've almost force feeding the kid. They come to my farm, they say, eat, and I tell them, have you asked the kid whether the kid is hungry? But they never ask the kid, would you like to eat? They'll force feed the kid until they finish all the food, that kind of thing. And it's as if they're force feeding this bird, instead of letting the kid decide. Kids, if they're hungry, they'll eat like puppies. A dog, a puppy. If they're hungry, they'll eat. If they're sick, they won't eat. It's very simple. But if they're full and you put food there, they won't eat it.
Okay, I want to put that to the nutritionists and the dietitians.
I think in terms for the time of eating, I think there's some myths going around. It's we can't eat before. No, you should stop eating at 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock or a certain time. But actually, there is no real evidence to show that actually works. But I think the thing is like
But I thought that if you eat closer to sleeping time, then you have a tendency to get fatter because you metabolize more slowly.
But you see, a calorie is a calorie,
Yeah,
you know. Like one school of thought. So let's say I eat 1,200 kilocalories and then I may burn it. If I burn it, I will not gain weight.
Yes.
But I eat the same 1,200 kilocalories and maybe different times of the day, but still it's the same 1,200 kilocalories.
Okay.
But like
if you
when
eat
you
at
closer
the end
to
of
the
the day,
bedtime,
yes.
you eat it. Maybe there are a lot of patients complaining about heartburn. You see, that's one thing, you know, as you age, you eat and you immediately go to bed. You have all these problems, you know.
Okay.
But there is no scientific evidence saying that, oh, because of that you are gaining weight.
Or is it because the metabolism declines during the night that you burn less and therefore you...
But actually, when you sleep well, actually it's good, you know, you don't gain weight.
Yeah, you don't gain weight. And actually, the thing is that sleep is actually a metabolically active time. Your body is doing stuff, it's repairing, it's doing that. So it's regenerating and all that. So, you know, some people have like, you know, glass of milk before they go to sleep, you know, and, you know, it's just great to you know, when, you know, get them to sleep a bit better. But then, you know, it's actually a time when you're actually getting, you know, repairing is going on. So, for instance, for people doing sports, for instance, because I actually specialize in sports nutrition, and we get them to eat, you know, until all the way, you know, like little meals throughout the whole day, and even before they go to bed, we get them to, you know, like, you know, take
It won't make them
something.
fatter.
No, it actually helps them to actually build their muscle, or no, to actually recover for the next day.
Yeah, but you're
So-
not suggesting
yeah.
that you eat a big bowl of rice
No,
with
no.
curry, etc., you know,
No.
and dessert
No,
and all that, and then you go to bed. You
No,
know?
no.
Sleep forever then.
Yeah.
You have a 12, you know, a 10-course Chinese
Yeah,
dinner.
no.
You drive home and you jump into bed and sleep.
Yeah, no, it's
You know?
no, it's just about having a, you know, like a small meal.
Small, yeah. I mean, a snack
and then you
lah,
space it
a
out,
snack.
and so the snack,
Yeah.
and I mean,
But that kills
yeah.
the fun of eating, you know. It's nice to have a big sumptuous dinner, and if you're going to eat just little nibbles and snack food, that kills the joy of eating.
But
Kenneth,
that's
look
nurture
at, Kenneth,
versus
look
nature.
at your stomach.
No, it's
That's
all
the answer of
visceral.
the thing.
Is slow eating healthier,
Um,
or it makes no difference?
there is some research showing that actually your speed of eating can influence your weight, and only because when you eat more slowly, you tend to give your body and then your stomach enough time to tell your brain to tell you that you're actually full. So I mean there is another sort of paradigm in terms for eating to combat obesity is that it's actually to eat more slowly.
So that you don't eat as much.
Yeah, and you will tend to eat more mindfully, and you'll get more satisfied. So I think the thing is about satisfying. Is this hungry or is this hungry?
It's the mind.
Or is this hungry?
So it's all
Yeah. Is it here or here?
Right.
So the thing is that, and that's why I actually tell my patients to actually start to practice slow eating in one meal. So, and I mean a lot of recommendations to having it to be like 20 minutes
I
for
think
a meal.
related to it
so-
is also that when you're eating, just
Yeah.
eat.
Yeah.
Don't multitask. Don't sit in front of the TV.
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
have
yeah,
your
yeah.
Facebook on and have your smartphone on and look at that, because then you're not really mindful of what you're eating. You tend to gobble food much more faster. Your pace of eating is higher. You tend to consume more food. I'm not sure if there is kind of really hard evidence research supporting this, but there are a few studies that definitely support this.
Go outside your university and see
Yeah.
all the students there and eating and
Yeah.
studying at the same
No,
time.